So, what is a monopoly? Before we delve into what a monopoly is, let's look at the etymology of the word. The word monopoly comes from the Latin word monopolium, meaning the right of exclusive sale, and mono, meaning sole. So the definition of a monopoly is that it is a sole market, that is a sole firm, which is the sole seller of a product without any close substitute. The firm also creates barriers to entry. For example, the single firm owns the resource, or it owns the exclusive right to own the good, etc. This creates a high barrier of entry, which makes it difficult for other firms or any potential competition to enter the market to compete with the monopoly. So why do these monopolies exist, except for the fact that humans are all greedy little shit? This creates a high barrier of entry, not necessarily because the actual firm in the monopoly wants it to be, maybe because the resource that is being produced is very difficult to obtain or easily monopolized by the company. This is the case for natural resources like natural gas or electricity. The actual monopoly might not even be a firm. It might be the government who is the firm which owns the exclusive right to produce a good. Or this might be because of patents or copyrights of certain products are difficult to reproduce with other ways or methods. Now, why monopolies exist is to make a lot of money. So they can do this by setting a price to maximize profit. Now, most monopolies you imagine might have the same price to all consumers, being a really high price for everyone. So every time anyone requires this product, that product makes the most amount of money possible. Different people have a different amount of money they're willing to pay for a certain product. This is called the willingness to pay. This leads us into price discrimination, where companies charge different prices to different buyers for the same exact good, which depends on different people's willingness to pay. However, this depends on the knowledge of different groups of people or individuals willing to pay to maximize the profits. This is when the perfect profit margin is when the price is set at precisely the amount where each individual is willing to pay. An example of this is the railway, or for example, Hong Kong's MTR, which is quite the only single firm of train transport there is that exists. Now, the MTR is also regulated with a price cap, which causes it to be more affordable and more attractive. This is because government policies ensure that the MTR fares are low, which is causes the stability of prices, which will be talked about later. However, not everything is good and dandy with the MTR. There's also price discrimination. For example, the elderly and the children also get lower fares, while adult fares remain at the same price and are very high. Ticket fares are also less flexible than octopus cards. For example, everyone actually has to use an adult fare. Now, why is the MTR a monopoly? As such as now, it is a firm that is the sole seller of a product without close substitutes, except that this time it sells a service, which is the service of, well, transportation. Now, obviously, there are other sorts of transport ways, but they aren't as cheap or as affordable. So let's talk about the effects of monopolies. Firstly, there are multiple positives. For example, there is the stability of prices. Now, this causes no more price wars to rattle up the market, which consumers can enjoy a certainty of prices, which means they don't have to change their budget, they don't have to do anything, they just have to follow the same price every year. It also has the ability to scale up prices because it causes large economies of scale. It also produces mass quantities of a product at lower cost per unit, so lower prices might be passed along to the customer. It creates a higher budget for development and research, and monopolies feel safe investing in research and development, and new products would be
I have had
created
multiple
and
weapons
possibly better
failures
quality
over the 9
products.
years.